Peter Bernota knows all about this. He lives in Wuhan and has created a blog recording his quarantine experience. He joins us now live from Wuhan. Peter, really great to have you with us. What is life
Morning.
like there after lockdown?
Well, it certainly is an event in transition. I mean, we have a lot of information that's flowing to us in terms of how we should be responding, how we should take continued precautions, and still try to regain some sort of normalcy in our daily lives. But it is a situation in transition. We're still waiting to see if there's going to be reinfection. We're still waiting to see how it affects our workplaces and our family lives.
You blogged about your experience under quarantine. What was that like from, I guess, a psychological standpoint, and then transitioning back to maybe less restrictions in Wuhan?
Right. Well, the entire event was quite a surprise as you're experiencing around the world at this point. We became aware of it when we were on our way out of Wuhan and Hubei province for a holiday. It's the Lunar New Year holiday, and it's a big one in China. So a lot of people leave, a lot of people take advantage of that time off. So the adjustment was quite extreme. Within a few days, we were on lockdown. We had to return back to Wuhan from our holiday and wound up having a kind of a solitary life for the last couple of months. The transition out is one that we're taking with a great amount of caution. We are not entirely sure what will happen with reinfections. That means that we're still very cautious. We're obligated, obviously, to wear masks and maintain some social distancing. As most of the world is aware, those are quite effective in terms of personal techniques to use. But the actuality of going back into group environments, China is a very crowded country. The cities are packed with people. Transportation typically has people pressed against each other, and this is a great concern whether that virus will re-manifest itself and that we will have some sort of reincidence that will affect people's employment and also their personal lives.
So the saying goes that it takes 12 weeks to form a habit. I would say that probably a little around 11 weeks was the lockdown there in Wuhan. What do you think it is about the habits of citizens there that you think will be some of the more permanent changes? So even though the lockdown has somewhat been lifted and we know those restrictions are in place, what do you think will fundamentally change about the way people behave and live their lives there?
I'm not sure that it will actually be a significant change. Part of it, and you're entirely right. The adjustment takes a little bit of time to actually work its way through. You are living in isolation, sometimes with family, sometimes without. People have to get used to being with people continuously, where typically they may have gone to work and had some period of privacy. That did not exist for quite a few people, and others had to deal with isolation. And the psychological impact of that was fairly significant. We saw some incidents of suicide, some incidents where people were frustrated. The social media platforms here were extraordinarily active. Everybody tried to reconnect with friends to find out how things were going, family members. The adjustment to normalcy here will take some time, and partly is that there's still this great caution, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. We're still not entirely sure what will happen with reinfection rates. Certainly, the crowding, the tendency to be close to people here will not manifest itself again anytime soon, but eventually it will probably return back to the way it was, simply because people forget about the hard times. They forget about the difficulties they had to live through and want to return to something approximating what they had before. And there is a sense of resentment of have been locked down. At the same time, there's an appreciation for all the efforts that were made to cope with this issue. It's very interesting because as an American in China, and especially in Wuhan, what I see happening around the world, whether it's London, Paris, New York, or Los Angeles, very much mimics what we experienced here. The uncertainty, the transitions that were forced on people, the reconsideration of ordinary life now becomes something that they can learn from. I mean, this is the reason I started the blog on patreon.com/Wuhan, is basically to give people an understanding of what they will experience financially, in terms of preparation of materials they may stock, like food or toilet paper, I guess is always a popular item around the world. But the psychological impacts are significant. People have to slow down a little bit. They have to realize this too will pass, but it's something that really requires a little bit of consideration for all those who are around us.
Peter Bernota, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts with us. And certainly for that reason, that is why a lot of attention has been paid to Wuhan. We are certainly wondering what to expect next. Peter Bernota, thanks for being with us.